I'm legally insane, and I spent 6 years in prison, celled up with a guy named Chocolate Thunder. And yeah, it went pretty much as good as it expected it to go. Yeah, I mean, what'd you think was gonna happen when you cell up with a guy named Chocolate Thunder? I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that one out. So needless to say, I ain't going back. But today, we're here to talk about Nintendo Switch games. I've got a whole bunch of recent pickups, backlog of about 300 games. And I'm going to show you these games. I'm going to tell you why I got each of these games, why you might also be interested in some of these games. And in particular, one of these games is quite possibly the rarest, most sought after Nintendo Switch game on the entire console.
What did he say?
This game is so rare that I can 100% guarantee when you see this game, you are going to pick up a loaded gun, 6 bullets in the chamber,
Huh?
and you are going to proceed to point that gun at your own balls.
I'm retarded?
Then you are going to look back at the YouTube video that you are watching right now. You're going to see the game. Then you're going to look back down at your own balls with the gun pointed at the balls. You're going to look back up one more time. You're going to look at the game. Then you're going to look down one last time and you are going to pull that trigger. And I know this is going to happen 100% guaranteed because I've seen it happen. I tested this theory on my own son. He's 6 years old. I gave him a loaded gun and I gave him this rare game. And I said, son, this is one of the rarest, most sought after games on the entire Nintendo Switch console.
Ah!
Heavy hitter number 1. Very rare. Dark wood, brand new sealed for the Nintendo Switch. This is a top-down survival horror game that has very quickly become a cult classic. Not only has it become a cult classic, but its cult classic status grows with every single day that passes, and the rate at which it grows is rapidly increasing. It checks all of the boxes for what a very rare and expensive game in the future would be looking for. It is a horror game. It's in the right genre. It had a low print run. We'll get into that more later. And it went under the radar upon initial release. In fact, not that long ago, the PS4 version was dirt cheap. But yeah, the game is genuinely good and genuinely scary without relying on jump scares. This is not about jump scares. This is old school, straight horror, survival horror. There's also a limited run games PS4 version, which I think only had 2,000 copies, but it's not as collectible as the Switch version. Very expensive game. I paid 250 Canadian dollars for this one, and I consider that to be a really good deal. But I've been wanting to buy it ever since it was only 100 to roughly 120. Oh, actually, it was roughly 125 Canadian dollars. I held off. Finally, I found a really good deal, 250. I mean, there's there's not very many copies out there. The price is going up. That much I can guarantee. If they don't reprint this game, it's going up. So let's talk about the game itself, though. You know it's rare. I don't need to tell you it's rare. I don't need to tell you it's expensive. So the game has always had good reviews. It's not like the game was bashed. It was just unknown. I want to show you this review here. This guy here describes the gameplay pretty good, so I thought I would read this as an introduction to the game. So under gameplay, he says the day is spent by exploring, progressing the story, and gathering resources to help you defend your hideout, while nighttime is spent defending your base. So there's a day and night cycle. During the day, you're gathering resources, placing traps, that sort of thing, building things. And then by night, you're defending yourself. You're defending your base. He says, I absolutely love this cycle as it creates such a good balance for enjoyment. Melee combat is slow and clunky, but it makes the game feel so real and difficult. It makes kills incredibly satisfying to pull off while being intense and fun too. Ranged weapons are good, but honestly overpowered. I spent most of my kills using melee items I found melee items as I found it much more fun and rewarding, even though I had tons of ammo to burn through. A couple of puzzles here and there, but this is pretty much an open world experience where you can explore at your own pace. So I'll jump in. I'll say it's more of it's like a semi open world experience. That's you unlock new areas as you progress. Under scariness, he says pretty scary, which is super impressive for a top down third person horror game. I mean, he's right there. Remember, this is a top down survivor horror. I forgot if I mentioned that earlier, actually. Fear mainly comes from your vulnerability, sound design, and darkness when you defend your hideout. Not to say that daytime isn't scary too. The game does get less scary once you get used to a location, but boy does it ramp up again once you dip in new waters. In the beginning of the game, you won't really be using ranged weapons. You'll have to progress, maybe like 33% through the game before you start really getting more ranged weapons. It's designed that way. The game is known for being difficult, but it is beatable. The game was designed on purpose to have you figure things out on your own. They do not hold your hand whatsoever. They basically tell you nothing. You're to go in there and figure it out, which sometimes that's great, but personally, that was a little bit overwhelming for me and a bit of a turnoff. I was scared to even start the game because I knew that going into the game. So, what I'm going to recommend you do is look up a spoiler free basic beginner's guide. That's what I did. And then once I did that, I no longer felt overwhelmed and I kind of understood the basics. It just gets you started. That's what I recommend doing. Why torture yourself? Just go and get the basics down, combat basics, crafting basics, basic mechanics of the game, how to survive your first couple of nights, how to defend your base, how to use barricades, what can be used as barricades, that sort of thing. So you can and you can practice your combat. We want to practice your combat early on because you're going to have to master the melee mechanics and the dodging mechanics. The game does take place in Poland, by the way. That's why this particular reviewer is saying that he's going to be staying away from Poland for a while. Overall, masterpiece. Overall, this game is a masterpiece in horror and suspense building. I put this game off for so long as when I first played it 5 or so years ago, I think he's saying, I literally could not handle how terrifying it is. Finally got back to it as an adult, and I can safely say it's one of the best horror experiences I have had in recent years. Squid Kid says, I think I my pants. Well, buddy, that's how you know it's a good game. He's only 2.1 hours in. 2.1 hours in. Should have put a diaper on, buddy. That's what adult diapers are for. You would have known that if you'd been watching this channel. You would have known that. I liked the parts where the woods are dark. So, guys, I'm telling you right now, this guy's 30 hours in. If you like dark woods, guaranteed this will become your favorite game. And I am not exaggerating. There's a lot of dark woods. When it becomes that night cycle, buddy, it's real dark and there's a lot of woods, a lot of trees around, big old forest. It's dark. So if that's your jam, you're going to like this game. Rocket Llama says, took me 3 separate occasions over 2 to 3 years to finally get into this game. The learning curve can be pretty tough. Hey, by the way, that's why I recommend that beginner's guide that I just told you guys about. I was dead serious. I don't consider it cheating. And it's just a beginner's guide. It's not spoilers. If you want to go deeper, you can get spoilers, but just look up a beginner's guide. You'll find one easily. Just type it in Google. You'll find one. It just gives you the basic mechanics that you can go into it at least having an idea of what to do. Very glad I pushed through to the end. This game is unlike any others I've played. Very good little horror experience. Go slow, respect the forest, especially if it's dark. Disappearing Salami says, press Q for abilities. I learned this about 15 hours in. He's talking about the PC version, which maybe now is a good time to bring that up. You can get this game on Steam if you don't want to pay an arm and a leg for the physical version. You just want to play it. There's plenty of other options. Bob's Your Uncle says, it's a funny name. He says, a very calm and relaxing game. I would even compare it to Stardew Valley levels of calm. 10 out of 10. So you heard it from this guy. I mean, Bob's Your Uncle knows his stuff. If he says that this game is calm and relaxing, comparable to Stardew Valley, that's your jam. If that's what you're looking for, check this game out. Darkwood isn't your typical horror game. It doesn't rely on cheap jump scares or flashy monsters to keep you on edge. Instead, it digs under your skin and festers there, slowly building dread until you're practically sweating with unease. It's a top down survivor horror game that makes you feel vulnerable, isolated, and constantly paranoid. That sounds like me every day, buddy. That's me. Buddy, I got the cops have been looking for me for 15 years. FBI, RCMP, MI6, CIA. I think I know what it's like to be a little bit paranoid. I mean, I'm not going to read the whole review. It's a giant essay, but it's very detailed. I would recommend hitting pause and even reading it yourself. I'll just skip right to combat. It says combat in Darkwood. Let's just say you don't want to fight unless you absolutely have to. Which, by the way, there are stealth elements to this game too. You're going to be wanting stealth around every now and then. This game doesn't just make you feel like a badass. It makes you feel like you're desperately fighting for survival. Where every encounter could be your last. Ammo and supplies are scarce, and swinging weapons feels as chaotic as the game's world. It's messy, clumsy, and more about surviving than dominating. Guys, the game is on sale right now on the Nintendo Switch store. So if this is something you're interested in and you don't want to be forking over an arm and a leg, even though the game is going to 500 to 1,000 US dollars if they don't reprint it, guaranteed.
Damn!
This right here is your Rule of Rose equivalent for the PS2. This is your Masterclass Little Samson for the Nintendo Switch. I mean, this is one of the grails, okay? But remember, we are living in the modern era where anything can be reprinted at any time. But I do want to mention one other thing before I forget. The developers of this game have kind of disbanded. So as of August 8th, 2023, the developers, known as Acid Wizard Studio, announced they would be taking an indefinite hiatus, citing an inability to maintain a healthy work-life balance and a desire to prioritize their families and personal lives. So it doesn't look like they've broken up. As far as we know, there was no major infighting or anything like that, but they have disappeared from the scene. They are done. They're not making new games. They're not making a sequel, although they have announced that they are open to another studio taking over their game and creating a sequel on their own, purchasing the rights from them. They would collect a royalty or something along those lines. They explicitly described their work environment as destructive to their personal lives, stating that while they don't plan to disappear forever, they're stepping back for now, possibly returning in 5 to 10 years when they get their stuff together. So I suspect that maybe because they're on hiatus right now, that maybe there's no desire to do reprints, no desire to let another publisher take over. I don't know. But it's been 5 years now, and we still don't have a Switch reprint. And if we go another 5 years, this game is going to be double or triple the price you see right now. And if we go another 10 years, I mean, buddy, who knows? Could be $1,000 in 10 years. Easily, possibly more. You got to remember all the money printing, the inflation going on right now. I mean, the sky is the limit. Who knows?
Zanurzam się w ciemnym tunel. Czym prędzej tak dalej. Każda sekunda mnie boli. I każde wspomnienie me.
Next up, we got a very interesting game. This is Neon Blood. I have a love-hate relationship with this game. Neon Blood is rather difficult to describe, but it is an RPG at its core. It is an adventure game, story-driven RPG, JRPG in particular. And I say that because the what little combat there is done in turn-based JRPG style. But everything else screams adventure game. It's a detective game. You play a detective. It's short, 3 to 4 hours. That's why people bashed it to hell and back. What it has going for it, let's get the good. It's a 2.5D 16-bit style graphics, a beautiful game. Graphically, you'll never find better beauty in your life. Other than Octopath Traveler, which was absolutely mind-blowing. Oh man, Octopath Traveler, some of the graphics, some of the scenery in that game, unbelievable. But anyways, Neon Blood is a little bit of a different style, but still 2.5D HD 16-bit style graphics. But the problem is the graphics is kind of all it has going for it. It had the potential to be one of the best games ever made of all time. And that's what's so interesting about it because you can tell that the developers thought they had something. And I know that they thought they had something based on two things. Number one, they made a limited edition and they put a lot of effort into this limited edition. A lot of effort. There's a lot of little goodies in there. It was only a little bit higher, maybe $10 Canadian more than the OG copy. But that's not the main kicker. The main kicker is that slight spoiler here, the ending was an open ending. They left it open for a potential sequel. I don't think they would have done that if they knew it was a garbage game. Think about that logically. If you knew that this was a shovelware title, you wouldn't have put in the effort that they put in. They built this world, they spent a lot of time on the world building, than the game, than the game itself. They spent a lot of time on the graphics and the cutscenes, anime style cutscenes, beautiful cutscenes. But nothing else was there, nothing else. The story wasn't good enough. You could tell they were trying for this massive world. They were trying to build this in-depth cyberpunk story. But for a 3 to 4 hour game, there's just not enough time to do that. There's not enough time for character development. As a matter of fact, there is no character development. They were trying for this epic storyline and it just turned into an utter failure. Now, since you came here for Rare Games, I am going to tell you one thing. I'm going to tell you if they ever make that sequel, because they left it open. I beat the game. I know what I'm talking about. If they ever made that sequel, and if they actually made the sequel good, if they listened to the fans on what they did wrong and fix everything, like JRPGs wise, okay, sure. If you're going to go JRPG wise, fix the balancing issues, make it a little more in depth, make it more than one character in your party. You know, go hardcore on the JRPG aspect. Sure, that's one option. Or two, better yet, make it an action game, the way it should have been, beat 'em up style game. Now, if they ever go through with the sequel, maybe they made enough money to say, let's take a chance on a sequel. They invest all their profits into a sequel. And they make the sequel triple, quadruple the length. They make it a 20-hour game. In that scenario, people will go fishing for the OG no matter how bad it is, because they really do have something. They could expand on this world, expand on this universe, expand on the story, and really create something. That is the only scenario where Neon Blood goes up in value. Other than that, I see the value going down. I would avoid this game like the plague. Unless you can get it for cheap. I mean, you can still have a good time with it, but I wouldn't pay full retail value for that one. The game shockingly got mixed reviews. So some people do like it. You can tell it didn't sell well. That's another thing. 52 reviews, that's it. That's nothing. Absolutely nothing for a game that came out 1 year ago. I think this review sums it up pretty good. This user says, he beat the game in 3 hours. Combat is the worst I've ever experienced. Repetitive, short, super linear, zero freedom. He's not wrong. That's all true. Uninteresting characters. Mostly true. Only thing that is good is the art, but everything else is trash and boring and half-baked. If it was $5, I could accept. I could accept, but for this price, I expect something more than a slideshow. Worst game I ever played, in my opinion. Buddy, you obviously haven't played Silver Surfer for the NES, or Mary-Kate and Ashley Sweet 16 for the Game Boy Advance. Go play that one and then tell me this is the worst game you ever played. Okay, I got to get through these other games a little bit quicker. I spent way too much time on Darkwood, I think. Next up, I did get Capcom Fighting Collection. I don't know what this currently sells for. I'm sure it's cheap. Probably on sale. Maybe even VGP still has it. I don't know. Lots of very interesting, good fighting games on here. I'll read them off real quick if I can see them. There is, I believe that says Darkstalkers, Night Warriors, Vampire Hunter, Vampire Savior 2, Street Fighter 2 Anniversary Edition, Red Earth, Super Gem Fighter, Cyberbots, and Puzzle Fighter, Super Street Fighter 2 Puzzle Fighter, something like that. The point is, I'm not really big into fighting games. You guys all know that. I like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and Blade Strangers. Blades and Power Stone. That's it. Oh, and Super Street Fighter 2 for the Super Nintendo. That's it. So you might be wondering, well, why did you get this then? It's got all these cool games on it, like Cyberbots looks really cool. Red Earth is apparently supposed to be really good. I'm sure that the Street Fighter 2 20th Anniversary Edition or whatever is pretty good. Don't care for the puzzle game. Why I got this is for Gem Fighter, also known as Pocket Fighter on the PlayStation 1 here in North America. I was planning to buy this game already. Currently price charts for 42 American dollars. So that's, 60 Canadian dollars. $60 for this Pocket Fighter game, which is the same game as Gem Fighter. It's just in North America, they called it Pocket Fighter. I was planning to buy this because this is one of the biggest hidden gem fighting games of all time, one of the best fighting games of all time. So you can pay $60 for the PS1 version right now, or you can literally pay less than that and get the Capcom Fighting Collection for 40 Canadian dollars. Right now, free shipping to your door. Here it is, Darkstalkers, Red Earth, Super Gem Fighter Mini Mix, Hyper Street Fighter 2, and Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. That's what it's called. That puzzle game is apparently pretty good. I'm just not into puzzle games. You play online against other people too if you're hardcore into fighting games. But really, none of this matters. Look, yeah, they got plenty of other cool games, Darkstalkers, but this is the only game that you need. This game right here. Now, what makes this game so good is that it only needs 3 buttons. You use 3 buttons. Punch, kick, special. It is a game designed for newbies and fighting game retards. And kids, young kids can play this game easily. Combos are easy to execute. It's designed that way. It's the beginner-friendly, newbie-friendly fighting game. That is the best kind of fighting game. That means it's party game-friendly. Perfect entry point for beginners. Perfect entry point for little kids to introduce them to fighting games. It also has a little RPG elements to it, a gem system. That's why they call it Gem Fighter. So when you beat up your opponent, you knock gems out of your opponents, and then you can collect the gems and power up. You can level up and power up your special moves to 3 different levels, which adds additional strategy to the game. Do you want to chase the gems and level up and power up? Or do you want to keep fighting your opponent? Because you have to stop fighting to pick up the treasure chest. You shake the chest, you shake all the gems out, and you level up. But if you do that, you're not pummeling your opponent anymore, right? But if you don't do that, then guess what? Maybe your opponent's going to pick up those gems. Or maybe your opponent's going to have a comeback, and you're going to wish that you picked up the gems. So there's some elements of strategy to it. But I like it for those simple moves. That's what makes a fighting game good. I often compare it to one of my all-time favorite fighting games, Blade Strangers. This is a hidden gem fighting game from Nicalis, however you say it. Every single move, 1 button. Every single move. You hit a direction, up, down, left, right, and 1 button. That's what makes it the best fighting game ever made. What's it say at the back here? Oh yeah, plus it's got a whole bunch of indie characters. Cave Story, that's Cave Story character right there. What's that princess game? Code of Princess. Shovel Knight is in this game. More Cave Story characters. Some anime girl, I don't know all the characters. Kawaii or something. Kawaki. Kawasi, something like that. She's got a couple of Switch games. All indie characters. Most of them from Code of Princess and Cave Story. Oh, here it says Umahara Kawase, The Binding of Isaac and more. Fighters from The Binding of Isaac and more. So lots of characters. They all have special moves. It's just like Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but with indie characters and 1-button moves. Well, these 2 games are similar. So highly recommending that one. and especially for game nights. So if you have a buddy that you like to play 2-player games with, or you like to have 4-player game nights, couch co-op, we're talking couch co-op, this is a great party game. Anybody and their mother can pick up this game. John Bunday's 69-year-old mother can pick this game up and beat you. She can beat anybody in this room because anybody can beat anybody. Just like in Blade Strangers, anybody can beat it. You have a fighting chance, a puncher's chance in any of these games, no matter how bad you are. Last game I picked up, I got Castlevania Advance Collection. And I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't played any of these Game Boy Advance games. I'm brand new to getting into the Game Boy Advance. I've been picking up a lot of these games in recent times. I got a couple of games behind me, in fact. I mean, let's pull up some random examples while we're at it. I got Scooby-Doo. These Scooby-Doo games are really good. Do not sleep on Scooby-Doo games. I'm talking GameCube, PS2, and Game Boy Advance, and Nintendo DS. Do not sleep on Scooby-Doo games. This is a 2-in-1, Cyber Chase and Mystery Mayhem. And also Road to WrestleMania. Very good game. Wait a minute. I might be getting this mixed up with something else. This game might suck. I don't remember. I might be mixing this up with the Game Boy Color, with the Game Boy Color game. But the point is, I'm collecting Game Boy Advance games. So I know that these Game Boy Advance games are good. I know that the DS games are good. I know that. But the kicker for this game, this is what I'm mostly interested in. It also has Dracula X on it, and I'm wondering what version of Dracula X is on here. That's what I want to know. Because if it's the Super Nintendo version, I'll be shocked for starters. Because the PC Engine version, the TurboGrafx 16 version, is supposed to be the best version. This is the best version. TurboGrafx 16. Dracula X. TurboGrafx 16 PC Engine version blows the Super Nintendo version out of the water. So I'm very curious to know what version they chose. But at the same time, I don't have the Super Nintendo version. I wouldn't mind playing it, so I might not be that disappointed if that's the version it is, but only because I have the PC Engine version. And many people will tell you that Dracula X is the best Castlevania game of all time. Many people will tell you that, possibly myself included. So I got it brand new sealed. I don't know if this is still in stock. I would imagine they printed millions of these. It's not going to be rare. I don't think so. And if it's out of stock and it's already rare, let me know. But I highly doubt it. It's Konami. They'll just reprint it anyway. Konami doesn't let their stuff become collectible anymore. They'll reprint it into the grave. I just want to see if there's a manual inside. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Live opening, live on air. I'm going to see what is in the book. Hey, maybe they'll tell us what version of Castlevania X is in here. Okay, so we got Castlevania Circle of the Moon. Pretty cool. Oddly enough, it does not have that proper book smell to it. Disappointed in the smell. Castlevania Harmony of Dissonance. That one looks cool. Castlevania Aria of Sorrow. I think I heard that this might be the best one of the Game Boy Advance Castlevania games. So I have heard people talk about that one. Ooh, Dracula X. Okay. The best of all. You know what? If you ask me right now, I'll just straight up tell you this is the best Castlevania game. But mind you, I haven't played them all, but I'm pretty certain that this is the best one. Okay, here it says. Okay. Castlevania Dracula X is a reimagination of the cult action game Castlevania Rondo of Blood, which I think was PC Engine version, if I'm not mistaken. and has been acclaimed as one of the most challenging Castlevania titles ever created. I did not know that. Okay, and I have just verified, like I suspected, there are tons of these games in stock. They ain't going out of stock anytime soon. I guarantee you VGP has thousands. They probably ordered too many, in fact. These are going to have to go on sale to liquidate at some point. Plus, you got VGP with that magical warehouse where they magically, just by pure coincidence, have all the rare games that previously went out of stock years ago, but they're magically back in stock. But oh no, they didn't reprint them. They were just hidden in the vault. Right? They were just magically hidden in the vault. The whole time, they were just hidden in the dark corner, and they found that rare game, and not only did they find it, but they found a lot of them. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. I am trying to get to over 9,000 subscribers, on my way to collecting over 9,000 retro video games and Nintendo Switch games. I don't do no PS5 on this channel. I don't really do PS4. I made a PS4 video, but I don't do PS4. Not yet, at least. Also, I do have a Patreon. Please consider subscribing. Support the channel. You can join for free. I do post occasional content for free as well. I make exclusive content for the Patreon supporters, and that's my way of thanking you for the support. Your support keeps this channel going. Smash the like button. Leave a comment. Share the video with a friend. All of these things support the channel, and I want to thank everyone, especially the Patreon supporters, for the support. Everybody that writes a comment, I'm always open to constructive feedback as well. If this video went too long, too short, you let me know. I don't have a script, buddy. I don't have a script. You come up here and make a friggin' 30-minute video without a script. I might have some talking points. I might write down some jot notes here and there, but I don't have a script. So sometimes I ramble. And don't forget, I will link below with all the rap songs that I currently have in iTunes. There's still time. Summer's not over yet. The official song of summer, Super Swing Golf 2. Check that one out. Super Swing Golf 2, certified banger. That is the official name of the song. Check that one out. Go cruising for chicks before summer ends. I guarantee you, you will get results. You crank that music, 69-inch subwoofers, two 69-inch subwoofers in the back, and I guarantee you're going to get 69-year-old ladies are going to be flocking to you. 69-year-old ladies and mothers with 6 kids in tow. They're going to come flocking. Buddy, you're not even going to be able to drive down the street without being bombarded with hooters. Now, most of those hooters, they're going to be saggy. They're going to be saggy. But you take what you can get, buddy.
Grip that whoop remote, stand so steady. Super Swing Golf 2, yeah, I'm ready. Hidden gem status, collector stay wise. Prices swinging up, watch them rise.
We in my hand, no ordinary play. Tee off smooth, send the ball away. Course so crisp like a fresh spring breeze. Hole-in-one vibes put my mind at ease. Swing it, slice it, aiming for the pin. Super Swing Golf where the fun begins. Hidden gem glows, it's the Wee's prize. Value on the rise, no surprise. Swing it, slice it, aiming for the pin. Super Swing Golf where the fun begins. Hidden gem glows, it's the Wee's prize. Value on the rise, no surprise. Golf with a twist, it's a gamer's dream. Colors pop bright like a vivid stream. Collectors got eyes, they know the deal. Cop and cop.